Welcome back to Wealthplan TV. Today we're looking at debt. In the past we've looked at different types of debt. Now we're going to see how we can begin to control that debt. To control debt you've got to understand it first. So you may choose to use a table that looks something like this. Lender, type, amount owed, term, interest rate, and a little column there for special. You'll see how that works. So then we add details of each debt. Here you can see we've got home mortgage to NAB, 345,000, 30 years term with 6.1% interest rate. Then we add the next item of debt, in this case is an NAB card, 5,700, interest rate 14.7, and we go on adding each individual debt line. Citibank is worth noting because you can see under special conditions there we've got that the transfer balance has no interest at all. These special interest rates are available from time to time. Now here we've got a GE money loan to Harvey Norman for white goods, and again there's something in the special conditions here saying that it's interest free until April next year. If you need to call the lenders to fill in the gaps in the table, then do that, because we do need this table reasonably full. When the table is full we need to look at payments. If you've done your budget, that should be pretty easy for you. If you haven't done your budget, when you get the figures when you do your budget will be easier. Okay, so we've now added a column here which says minimum payment, and you can see for the NAB loan we've got a minimum payment of 2,000 and something a month, minimum payment for the NAB card of 114, and so on. So we've added that additional information. Now we've got two more columns to go. The first one is what you're currently paying. You can see from the table that we've added now a column that's our current payment. So on the mortgage we are paying $1,100 a fortnight, and on the NAB card we're paying $120 and $150, etc. So that's fine. Now we want to look at the second column. What we need to do is work out how much you'd like to pay. Now this is dead easy if you've actually done your budget, but if you haven't, hey, guess. Just be aware that if you guess, you've got to fix it up if it's wrong. Again, that's no difficulty. So from your budget or your guess, you may have decided that you've got $400 a month extra to help try and settle this debt. And what we need to do is use an illustration to show how to apply that in the best way. We've spoken in previous shows about the relative merits of paying off the lowest interest rate first or the lowest debt first. Let's make that a bit more real and have a look at the example. I think you'll see in this case we'll actually do neither. Okay, so looking at that table there's a couple of ways to go. What we need to do is work out which debt we're going to focus on, and then this gives us the following amount to deal with. So by reducing the home loan to the minimum we release $292 per month. That's because it's paid fortnightly, and that makes a big difference. We can save $22 a month on reducing our cards to the minimum plus our additional $400. This means we have $714 a month to help control our debt. Now just a comment, if you're going to reduce your home loan to zero, make sure this strategy works, otherwise you've cost yourself. If it's falling apart, just put the money back on your home loan again and have another go later. So where will we put our $714 a month? The highest interest rate is the Citi card, but if you see under the special conditions there's no interest on the transferred balance, so that wouldn't be a good place. So the GE card, again, that's the lowest balance, but that's interest free until April next year. So again, we wouldn't do that. So in this case, we're going to focus on the NAB card. Now, here's our table. And as you can see, we are going to reduce our home loan to the minimum. We're going to reduce the other cards to the minimum, which means that we're paying $828 onto the NAB loan. What this does is pays off that card fully in 7 months. Then, around about 7 months later, the GE card's going to come out of its interest rate holiday. So the next card we're going to focus on is that. We're going to add the money that we paid additionally to the previous card with the minimum payment on the GE card. Now this gives us $920 a month to pay off that card, and that will do that in 6 months. Now let's have a quick look and see what that makes our debt look like. You can see that our NAB credit card is paid off and the GE card is paid off. If we then pool all that money, we end up at $1,054 being paid to the Citi card. So that will settle that card in 7 months. So in just 1 year and 7 months, you will have totally settled debt, assuming you've budgeted well and not added to it, of course. This would mean that when you cascade that amount onto your home loan, you could pay $3,145 off the loan, and that would pay that home loan off in 13.5 years rather than 30 years. Not a big difference maybe, but that would save you a colossal $414,000 on repayments. It's well worth doing, isn't it? The other issue there is that we paid the loan off 14.5 years earlier, which means that you can create your wealth strategy 14.5 years earlier. Not a bad outcome for a little bit of control. We'll see you after the break. We'll be talking to Karen about different debt structures. See you then.